As is customary, we like to open up our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance, and this morning I've asked one of our guests here, Ms. Beth Wilson, if she'd be so kind as to open us up. Would you do that for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Door's always open. All right. Thank you, Beth. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order then. And first item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. You all received a copy of those. Do you have any changes or recommendations, or move to accept them if you'd like?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda, we've got a sheriff's office audit presentation by Mr. Pigman. If you'd like to address the court.
Good morning, everybody. You all should have a copy of this, all of you. On page 3 is the county purposes. All right. Okay. We have total charges of $2,224,560. That's the property taxes, franchise assessments, bank deposit franchise, penalties, and mineral charges. Credits, we have delinquents, real estate of $26,719. Delinquent personal taxes, $850.49. Delinquent minerals, $3.96. Court-ordered adjustments, $4,848. Discounts, $34,265. Total of $66,687 credits. That leaves the net collections of $2,157,873.02. From that, we deduct the sheriff's commission of $81,364.07. Refunds of taxes collected, $3,328.19. Delinquent additional 2015 bill is $41.31. And an adjustment on a master commission sale of $2.97. Leaves net amount due to the county, $2,073,136.48. Payments made were $2,073,152.69, which ended up with an overpayment of $16.21. On the last page of that report is the total taxes collected. Charges of $28,882,495. Credits of $903,070.72. Net is $27,979,424. From that commissions, it ended up with an overpayment of $133.09 out of $28 million, almost $29 million, which is pretty good, real good, I think. Okay, any questions? Be glad to try to answer.
Motion to accept the audit, sheriff's audit.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay,
Thank you, Jay.
thank you all.
Okay. Next item on the agenda then will be the tax rate presentation from Pulaski County Extension Service. Beth, would you like to approach the court here?
Sure will. Good morning, everybody. My name is Beth Wilson, the horticulture agent at the Extension Office, and I'm here to represent the district board who sets our tax rates for this year. They decided not to change the rates from last year, so we have a real property tax rate of 1.5 and a real personal property tax rate of 1.63. Those did not change from last year. Y'all have any questions of me?
I guess just let the record reflect then that we received those. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, brings us into old business. We have a couple items on our old business. We have two second readings, one of our administrative code and also the personnel policy. Martin, you need to address that?
Yeah, it's, the first one is amending section 10.5 of the Pulaski County Administrative Code effective which was passed July 1st, 2017. And it's related to employer-provided vehicles. You want to do those one at a time?
Basically, this just puts it back the way it was before we made that amendment back in April, I believe. So it puts it back the way it was.
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then the second ordinance amends section 10 of the Pulaski County Classification and Compensation Plans, Personnel Policies and Procedures, and Position Classifications, which were passed by the court on July 1st, 2017, and it basically needed to be amended to reflect the same policy as the court just passed for the administrative code.
Entertain a motion to have that second reading.
Motion.
And a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we got brings us to our new business. We have the approval of our county tax rates, and basically what we have here is no change from our previous year's taxes. So want to let the public know that we are doing our best to remain one of the lowest property tax counties in the state of Kentucky. I think we're third lowest right now, and we're proud of that. But we're trying our best to make do with what we've got and provide the services that you all expect from us. So
So
Appreciate
no tax raises
no
in the
tax
county, period?
raises, no tax raises. Read my lips. No new taxes.
No new tax.
So anyway, your court here does a good job of taking care of your county's tax money, allows us to do that. So we'll entertain a motion to approve that rate.
Motion.
A motion, do we have a
Second.
second? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. And we've got next item then will be a resolution, and this is a resolution to seek legal representation against contributors of opioid addiction. And we all know the crisis that we face not only in Pulaski County, but statewide and nationwide about opioids. And what we have, we want to join a class action suit against the manufacturers of some of these opioids. And what that will require from us is these attorneys that are filing this class action suit will need us to provide information to them about statistics here in our county. And if this goes forward and is successful, we will be able to claim part of that settlement back for Pulaski County that we can hopefully put towards fighting opioid addiction here in our county. So this resolution just allows us to join into that class action suit with other counties.
Several counties, at our prosecutors conference, the one of the law firms from one of the attorneys from one of the law firms, I'll get it straight in a minute, came and made a presentation at our Kentucky County Attorneys Association meeting, and Judge Kelly and I had met with another attorney that's assisting in this. Laurel County, I know, has already signed on. Bell County, 2 or 3 counties in northern Kentucky have already signed on to this, and it's the reason we're going to have to provide this information is there's a couple of components to it. There's an enforcement component, but then there's and of course in any civil suit you got to establish damages. So part of our damages would be the enforcement side, and then the other part would be what's it costing our community to house and treat people with opioid addictions. So there's no cost to the county to do this if there's no recovery, and Fiscal Court doesn't owe anything. These are good, well-known law firms who are zeroed in on this, and so the judge and I talked about it, and I would join in his recommendation that the court vote to adopt this resolution.
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second then. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, and I have one item of new business that was not on your agenda, but I'd like to make a recommendation that we hire Josh Wilson as a floater flex position here in the county, I guess starting with the next payroll.
Motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. All right, brings us to our department reports then. Sheriff's not with us today. Do we have a representative? No. Jailer is out of town today. Coroner?
No report today.
Linda, do you have anything today? Stacy Halcom, Public Safety. Brings us to our road department. I knew we couldn't get away from. Jordan's always got plenty of stuff.
Only thing I have today is approval of a road work request. I think there's some speed limits on Jimmy's.
Yeah, I got one. There's
Lynn's
one.
got some too.
That is? Make a motion to approve speed limit sign.
We gotta do those we gotta do those individually, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So let's see which one's first here.
Wilburn Road, 25 mile an hour.
So we need a motion for Mark Wilburn Road.
Got it.
A second from Glenn. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. And then Cherry Grove Road, we need a motion for that.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? And looks like Piney Grove Road, 15 miles an hour.
Motion. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? That's, let me see, that Piney Grove, is that the one in
Grundy, off Grundy.
Grundy? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I believe that's all of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take entertain a motion and
Motion.
to do the rest of the road work requests. We have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jordan. All right, brings us to a 911. Is Aaron with us today, or Becky?
Sam's in that group I'm speaking to.
Solid waste. Danny, do you have anything today? And animal shelter, Adam, do you have anything for us? And brings us to our treasurer.
You now know you're not gonna get away with
I know
no
you
reports.
got something for us, right?
First, I'd like to publicly thank the court for all their support during the death of my brother. You all have been more than kind, and it's greatly appreciated, so thank you very much. I guess the bill list will be the first item I have on my list.
You all have received a copy of your bill list. You have any questions? Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The second item I would have would be the monthly bank reconciliations.
A copy of your bank reconciliation. Any questions?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries.
I do have two fund transfers, one to LGEA fund and one to grant fund, both from the general fund, both for $10,000 apiece. Just to let you know, LGEA, we're coming in lower on our coal and mineral severance than we had projected. And we even had under-projected because of the fact that everything was going lower, but we still are coming in lower. Grant fund, it is for the Trails project, but it will be reimbursed once the project's completed.
Motion.
Motion and a second to accept the fund transfers. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to bring this to your all's attention because this was in our agreement with the Industrial Development Foundation. They have sent a purchase requisition for dock levelers, for Capstone, which is the old Palm Beach building. I don't know what your pleasure is on this because this is over and above the recurring expenses that had been previously approved.
I move we go ahead and take that out of our account.
Which account? From
From Industrial Foundation.
the county's portion?
No, I
Whatever
think
they
he's,
have.
Theirs, okay. Well,
what we're holding back on them,
they have two accounts. They have one under the county's purview. Then they have one under the Industrial Development Foundation's purview, of which I have no
idea what's in it.
I don't know what's in it, and I don't administer it. And therefore, if you didn't, what I'm saying is if this PO does not go through the fiscal court, that is up to them if they pay it from their other account.
So do we have some money that we're holding back from them, that we asked them to do this from?
No, we have not held any money back from them.
So if we pay this, it's directly out of the county's general fund?
Correct, yes, sir.
I thought we was holding their money.
We
froze.
we froze it, but then we basically unfroze it to pay their expenses. Therefore, they are continuing to receive their occupational tax money, but they have to spend it, they have to bring these to court, and they can either be approved or denied per
So what?
your
Are they
decision.
just asking permission for them to pay this out of their account?
No, they're asking for us to pay for it.
They voted to do it.
They voted, their board voted to do it, and their board voted for us to pay for it.
Have we talked to anybody about this?
They sent it, when they first sent the PO over, they had nothing. I had to go back to even get what building it was for or what it was for.
I think somebody might need to call and talk to them about it and see, figure out a little bit more about it.
We can do that.
What it's gonna be
withdraw
used
my
for.
motion.
I can-
Building, it's in their name.
Correct,
I mean, it has the county on it nowhere.
correct, no, you are correct.
I think they should have to pay it.
They'd still pay it out of the funds we
No,
originally.
no, no,
They'll
no,
pay it out of
no.
their separate
Those,
account.
those funds have nothing to do with us.
So I'll contact Martin this week and try to find out more and see if he wants to talk with our magistrates to explain that to him. All right.
I do believe that is all, we've already done tax rates, yeah, I'm done.
That's all you have?
That's all I have, thank you. Oh, no, I lied, I'm sorry, I didn't. The judge brought me a bill today, it is for Woodstock Community Center for $6,703.13. It is for, HVAC work.
Apparently they had blowers go out on their units and they had
Okay.
to replace those. And, I don't know, it says itemized there, but what
Yeah, right, I do have an itemized
they
bill.
went ahead and paid that, but they've asked us if we would reimburse them for that expense.
Motion.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
What was that amount, Joe?
Pardon me?
What's the amount?
$6,703.13 to JP and Sons. That is all I have this time, thank you.
Who was that to, John?
JP and Sons,
Hello?
I don't know who that is.
yes, they are local.
Okay.
Wait on that, Hunting, or you want to bring?
do it. You want me to do it?
Yeah, we've got a situation where, out at our Pulaski Park, before my administration, I guess, there was acreage that was added to the lease at Pulaski County Park, 230, give or take, acres, I think. On the back side, on the Piney Grove side, it was added to our lease. And we had in place an ordinance that did not allow hunting at the park. In 2015, we amended that ordinance to include that new acreage. All right, so there would be no hunting in Pulaski County Park because of the trails and people that potentially were out there using those trails. But we've had community, in that area and have been calling us and complaining that that's the only hunting grounds they have left. And so I told them, I said, we've passed an ordinance. I said it'd be up to the magistrates if they want to change that. So that's the situation we're faced with, and I know if y'all want to talk about that, or.
I don't know how it needs to be worded there, Martin, or how it needs to be done, but I make a motion that we put the hunting back in there like it was.
Seems like I'm trying to recall here, but it seems like there is a restriction on, I guess there's not a restriction on firearms, but y'all had passed a no hunting restriction, I guess is the way it was.
I think in 85, do you have the old ordinance there, Martin?
I've got the ordinance from 85, yeah.
Okay, that was the original ordinance. And I think all we did in 2015 was take out the wording in number 3, change it.
But we added that 230 acres into our park system. And that ordinance said that there'd be no hunting on our park, what the county owns for the
That
park.
was in 85, right?
Yeah, and we added, see, that property wasn't in there in 85.
Yeah.
The Corps gave that property to us later, and we added it in. So when we took it in from the Corps property to Pulaski County property, that joined that ordinance in 85, basically. Is the way I understand that. Is that right, Martin, or?
Well, you all added in, when you amended it, you went on and stated that for purpose of this ordinance, Pulaski County Park means all the public grounds and property located inside the park gate and every park portion of such grounds, buildings, property, including campground, recreation areas, and all that portion maintained by the county.
Yeah.
So the entire
And that was in 85 ordinance too, wasn't
15, was that in 85?
it? Yeah.
That was in the 15 ordinance.
So let me add, to change that then, we had to basically allow hunting anywhere in the park.
No,
Do we-
no,
Well-
there's never been no hunting over another park, and they don't have to be now.
Do we need a survey to
Well,
get
they-
that portion?
Will there be a problem with maybe a man's dog getting over on the park and them getting him for being on the park? Besides that 200 acres? That's what worries me about it. We need to identify it if we're gonna do it. You know, we need to mark the trees or do something that tries to let people know where they can hunt and where they can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been through this. I got on a game reserve one time accidentally, didn't even know I was on it. But there wasn't no signs or nothing. And it cost me 4 rabbits. I got mad over it.
They've hunted it all the time, and it's not been no problem.
Okay, as long as,
There's
like I said,
been
I'm just trying
signs
to
and
protect you boys.
stuff marking it back in the trail. I'm not sure if they've been removed or not, but they, said hunting allowed past this point, I know. Back the walking trail there.
Yeah.
Back in 85, when they put that ordinance, or 84, when it's put in, the Piney Grove side, which is where the big swinging bridge is, you know, on the walking trails, and that's actually the black course. And the big swinging bridge is from that point over on the Piney Grove side is where the additional 200 and some acres was brought in. At that point in time, there were no trails on the Piney Grove side. So when I talk to the Corps of Engineers, you know, they don't regulate hunting. That always reverses back to the local, you know, what the local ordinance are. So it's just a matter of if we're wanting to do that, we'd have to advertise.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a draft proposed ordinance and have a first reading and then advertise it in the second reading. Just like to amend, I guess you're wanting to amend 710.2, which is the latest one.
And if we amend that, Martin, the concern would be is we'd have to post it, and if something happened on that side as far as someone using the trail.
Well, I'm like Glenn, I mean, the argument is gonna be if anybody gets caught, well, I didn't know I was over in a no hunting area.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
Ignorance is no excuse, is what I was told.
So I would feel much more, because I'm the one gonna have to be dealing with this from a criminal standpoint, and so is Fish and Wildlife. I think it needs to be specifically identified, either where it's no hunting or where it can be hunted.
Yeah, no
One or
hunting
the other.
past this point or
Yeah.
something, plant some trees around. I'm trying to protect you guys.
I mean, if there's some natural landmark we can use, we can do that on the
It's-
such and such side of,
When I talked with the Corps, Marshall Jennings, he said that, you know, you'd have to have a clear,
yeah.
and that would be at the swinging bridge, because you'd have to cross, what is that body of water, Jason?
Creek?
Yeah. What is it? Oh, okay. Branch.
This has been a fun topic.
Yeah. We can go back there, Martin. And,
Well, it's gotta be identified.
There's
Yeah.
200 and some acres up.
yes.
Let me ask you this from
Identify.
just from a legal standpoint, if the trails are going through the hunting area and we allow that, there's an accident, the bike in that hunting area, where's the
You
liability
mean
there?
somebody gets shot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're the park lessee, so, and you've authorized hunting. I mean, there's gonna be an issue about the shooter. Were they negligent? But there's potential liability.
So we'll need to market both sides, enter at your own risk. Bullets flying.
Is there a trail going through that property?
Yeah, there's about 4 miles.
in the 200 acres?
Yeah. See, if you look at the map, and then we can give a map, we've got the blue trails was in existence, which is the upper side, on the left-hand side, coming into the park, that's the blue trail. And then if you follow it as the crow, it goes around to the big swinging bridge into Piney Grove, and on that side. And typically, that's where, when they're back there walking, that's typically where they get lost, because it's about 3 or 4 miles of that property.
It ain't marked well or something?
Yeah, it's, and they've improved the signage, but those trails, what I'm saying is those trails, as that ordinance reads, those trails wasn't in existence, but since then, they've increased the recreational trails.
Whatever you two want to do is fine by me, I mean.
Well,
I made a motion to do it, and that's where I'm sticking.
Well, I think first we need an ordinance for the court to review before there's any votes on anything. Just like we would any other
Have
change.
to advertise it and all that, you have
Yeah.
to mark it out and advertise it.
Yeah, so
And
if we
then
can,
second read.
if we can do a proposed ordinance, first reading at the next
You
meeting.
could actually set up where them trails is closed down on that side there in Huntsville.
Yes, that's when I talked with Marshall Jennings. See, that's the whole thing is that they don't enforce hunting on their property. And that we have a discussion with Fish and Wildlife, they don't enforce it on their property either. So if we want to amend it, that to me, that makes common sense is, we amended to read this portion of Park during this time of the year.
Can we do a map of the park and attach it to the amended ordinance that shows what portion of the park would?
Yes.
And also put up signs, but that
Yes.
way, then the ordinance is a public document, and somebody could go pull that off the website, take a look at it, and know specifically, it would be specifically marked on the map that's attached to the ordinance.
Yes.
And if we closed off the swinging bridge and the entrance at Piney Grove, they couldn't access those trails. If we close it off, said during hunting season, this portion closed, they couldn't get anywhere else, could they? Can they get on the trails?
I'm guessing people don't get way back that far in the wintertime anyway. That's when we're basically talking about,
There's
right?
a lot of bikers that get out there.
Do they ride back that far?
Yeah.
It's not blacktop or concrete trails or none, are they?
No, it's just bike walking trails. And you can go to the end of Piney Grove and park, and it's truly marked as this is you're entering into Pulaski Park. And has the signage and stuff, and
Did you say the Corps don't enforce hunting, or neither does Fish and Wildlife?
Fish and Wildlife does.
Well, say we can go down and hunt all we want to, it ain't nothing.
well, that's when I met with them regarding, how do we proceed, because that's actually technically their property,
Yes.
So how do we proceed is if we're gonna allow it or not. Well, they don't typically, like at Dale Hollow, you can go
Yes.
off the water and turkey hunt and stuff like that. Well, same thing here, if we're gonna do it, we have to have a clearly identified place, and it has to be clearly marked, because if there's an accident that occurs, of course, anything we deal with, it's always a negative, but we have to prepare you all for that, just in case.
What kind of hunting do they do down there most of the time? Anybody know?
Squirrel hunting, coon hunting.
Squirrel hunting, coon hunting,
And bow hunt there.
bow hunting deer.
That's who's upset now is the bow hunters.
What's that?
That's who's upset now is the bow hunters.
And I think they do some wild pig too, hunting on that Piney Grove
I
side too.
believe they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's opening. I'd like to go wild pig hunting.
Yeah, them wild hogs liable to eat them
So we just
people
need to
riding them bicycles through that up.
we work on an
They get
ordinance
killed
then
out.
to bring to court next.
Yeah,
Might we
you
work
can't,
on an ordinance and do it next meeting or something?
yeah, you can't change this without another ordinance,
Right.
so.
It's fine, wait, as long as we get it.
Can you take care of that for us, Martin?
All right. Anything else, gentlemen? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. No opposed? All right, thank you.